searching a club for my younger kid, my kid. So then I come across this thing. I have already been visited 1 and 2 meetings at Noida. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jay. Hope you have an enjoyable session today. And with that, let's. I know that for some of us, as we have learned, that life can get unpredictable, and you never know what's going to come up when. Uh, we heard the unfortunate news of the death of Dr. Rajkumar's son, Puneet Rajkumar, who left us all in a very untimely fashion. And I'm sure the fans and a lot of people, because of the kind of person that he was, have been pretty disturbed with the news. I'd like to acknowledge that, and also let's keep that in mind, that our life, as much as we take the day for granted, our family for granted, we never know how things are, what life has in store of us. Let's be appreciative of the fact that we are all here today, and recognize that let's not take time or our loved ones for granted. And with that, I would like to start the meeting, but also call on somebody who's known for her famous smile at Dhwani Toastmasters. She's the Toastmaster of the day today. And I've had the pleasure of knowing her for the last 15 years or maybe more. She's been a close friend of mine. But as a Toastmaster, I've seen her creativity, which I never realized as a friend, which I knew her mischievous nature, but at Toastmasters, I've seen her creative side. She's got experience in the field of HR, in accounting, and in operations roles. Please put your hands together for the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ashwini. Over to you.
Thank you for that warm introduction from Vinita. Crackers. Why did I even think of crackers as a theme for my session as a TMOD? As we all know, we are approaching Diwali. So what else other than crackers that can strike my mind? I would like to take a few seconds and ask what everybody feels here when you think about crackers. Anybody can answer.
Yeah, Kokila here. For me,
go ahead.
It's the sparkles, not so much the noise, but the brightness of the sparkles that come from the sparklers. And these sparklers that spread a lot of joy around, not just the youngsters, but adults also alike. So that's what I feel about crackers, not so much so the noise.
Anybody else?
Yeah, it appears like a sound and the light of celebration.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to share what they think about crackers?
If I could add a little more to what I said earlier, the word sparkle can have different connotations and can bring in, as I said, a lot of joy. So if I could extend it to a sparkling smile, which our TMOD has, and that is no less a sparkle than the sparkles that are given out by sparklers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ashwini, I'm not for crackers because for many reasons, but of course, main is pollution. It pollutes the air. And also, there are some crackers with such loud noise, which scares the street animals. And also, the very senior citizens who live, and it disturbs them also. So if there is anyone can find out crackers with which cannot pollute the air, I think that is fine. See, it's fine with sparklers; they are beautiful, but the noise pollution and air pollution is something we can avoid.
I totally agree, Ashwini. It's every time there is a festival like this, and then you see the sulfur dioxide or nitrogen dioxide levels and all these things go up like mad, So that is the flip side of it. Of course, not to detract from the thing, but I think we need to change our mindset. And I am also very concerned about the dogs. They get, they have a very hard time during that time.
True. So having heard all of the thoughts about crackers, what I would imagine or what I would recollect as my memory is that was a time when I would bond with my dad because I was very scared to burst an atom bomb. And it was a time where actually my dad would come and help us to burst the cracker. So that's one fond memory what I have of my childhood. And we have all the diyas lit up at home, which brings a lot of sparkle and light around. So, having said that, if we take a few seconds to think how we burst the crackers during Diwali, we do have the crackers bursting in our head. Same like some which can light up our moods or some which can douse off the moods. But the sparkles are always constantly running in our mind throughout the day. We have the rush for everything. Our mind is not at peace. It always has its own rush. Whether you give it a stay to stay at peace, it gets really difficult for mind to stay at calm and peace. So having said that, I think Ralph C. Medley had made sure that speeches keep bursting forth like crackers all over the world. So he started the Toastmasters in October 22nd, 1924, which gives us joy or the happiness and the whole purpose of why we all are here and why we are meeting in this forum. It's my privilege and pleasure to be part of Dhwani's Toastmasters Club, and it came as a blessing in disguise to take up the TMOD role. And this is my first attempt, and I would like to brave the role. For the benefit of the guests, I would like to explain the structure of the meeting. The meeting is divided into 3 rounds. First would be the prepared speeches, where members will be delivering their speech based on the projects and the pathways. The second round is the table topics, where even the guests can participate. It is an impromptu speaking, which will be headed by our table topic master, Mr. Toastmaster Sandeep. And finally, we have the evaluation round, wherein all the speeches and the whole of the session would be evaluated. Having said that, I would like to welcome our general evaluator for the day. Whoever has been part of Dhwani or not part of Dhwani, I think she needs no introduction. She is a teacher by profession, an artist by passion. She's a continuous learner and a mentor. Let's put up our hands together for DTM Naina, who has an evergreen charm and who is always welcoming. Over to you, DTM and G for today, DTM Naina.
Thank you, Ashwini. Good evening to all those who are here today. I'm so happy to see 8 members and 2 guests attending today's meeting. So initially, when I was a bit disillusioned of the attendance, then I remembered my mentor's word. Instead of gripping about those who don't attend, appreciate and value those who are attending. So it is honestly a blessing in disguise for so many members attending and also taking multiple roles, including our president. Thank you very much. Now, as the general evaluator, I have started to note down the whole meeting procedure, and also in Toastmasters, we not only work upon communication skills and leadership skills and listening skills, but also teamwork. So without a team, I, as a general evaluator, and this evaluation section cannot be successful. So I have speech evaluator Vinita, and also doing double role of accounter and grammarian is Antara, and timer is Nana. So I'll be keeping timing for the speakers and the table topics. The speakers have 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll be showing the, sorry, I won't be changing right now the card backgrounds. At 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. At 6 minutes, the amber card. And at 7 minutes, the red card. The speakers have 30 seconds grace time to complete their speech. The table topic session has 1 to 2 minutes time. At 1 minute, I will show the green card. 1 minute, 30 seconds, the amber card, and the green card at 2 minutes. And the table topic speakers also have 30 seconds to finish their speeches. The evaluators have 2 to 3 minutes time. At 2 minutes, the green card, and 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the amber card, and at 3 minutes, the red card will be flashed, and the evaluators can finish their speech by 2 minutes, 30 seconds. The table topic speakers, if you speak less than 1 minute, your speech will be disqualified. And that is the report of the timer. I would like to call upon the accounter, Antara, to explain her role.
Thank you, G. Naina. I, accounter, I, grammarian. As grammarian, I watch your grammar. You say wrong grammar, I complain to Timot Ashwini. You say right grammar, I note down, I read, report at end of meeting. Grammarian has word of the day, grammarian has phrase of day. Word of day, serendipity, meaning luck that takes the form of finding valuable or pleasant things that are not looked for. Example, they found each other by pure serendipity. Phrase of day, a blessing in disguise, meaning a good thing that seemed bad at first. For example, I have taken up 2 roles today, and this is a blessing in disguise because I'm learning to understand how better time management. I counter also. As a counter, I count your filler words. As a counter, I also note unnecessary use of certain words like and, but, so. So cut down on filler words and use of unnecessary words. Cut down on wrong grammar, else all report goes to Timot Ashwini. Timot Ashwini does not smile when she hears such reports. All the best.
You're on mute, Naina.
Sorry, I forgot to call upon the listener. The listener, Kokila, we are ready to listen to you. Please explain your role. Kokila, you have to unmute.
Today, I have taken up the role of the listener, and this is my second time playing this role. I will keep my ears open to all that is being said by all the members. There's no special reference to the guest or the members who are already present, but everybody present here, I'm keeping my ears open to listen to what everyone has been saying, and I would note down. At the end of the program, I would ask you all questions. I'll just throw questions at you all, and you have to answer them. It'll be something like a rapid fire quiz. So you also need to keep your ears open and to listen to what each of the speakers have to say. So this is a very interesting role that I've liked, and I hope I do a good job, and I hope this will provide some kind of a fun element to all of us. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Kokila. And so my team and I will be back in the third section of the meeting. Until then, over to Toastmaster Ashwini, the TMOD for the day.
Thank you, DTM and GE Naina. We have our first speaker, Mr. Toastmaster Samarendra. Before I call upon him, I would like to call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Naina. Could we have Mr. Samarendra's speech objectives, please?
Yes, here, 1 second. Toastmaster Samarendra is attempting level 2 and project 3. It is to introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. The purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. The purpose of this speech is also for the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. The speech is about a time when the member was a protege. It may be from any time in his or her life. The member may discuss any aspect of the protege experience. The speech should not be a report on the content of the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring project. All the best, Toastmasters Samarendra. Over to Ashwini.
Thank you, TM Naina. The speaker needs no introduction. He is an army veteran for 2 decades with a PhD in biotechnology and has served in Syngene Biocon Group. He was the last regional director of Agriculture Skill Council of India. He is passionate about training the underprivileged youth who also loves to travel, and he loves to ride horses. Samarendra, Toastmaster Samarendra is attempting his L2 P3 speech from the pathway Effective Coaching. My mentor, Reflections of Prodigy, Samarendra. Samarendra, my mentor's reflection of prodigy. All the best and rock the show. Over to you, Samarendra.
Thank you, TMOD. Can you hear me and can you see me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Hey, Sam, have you boarded the flight? Yes, Dennis, I just got in. Hey, Sam, do call me up when you reach Newark, New Jersey. Hey, but Dennis, I know the way to your lab. Hey, Sam, you're new to the place. Those cabbies will eat you for breakfast. And thus started my tryst with Dr. Dennis Michael Stark, Executive Director, Bristol Myers Squibb, one of the world's largest pharmaceuticals. It was the year 2006, and this association has continued till this day. Toastmasters and guests, a balanced attitude, approachability are the hallmarks of a great mentor. But besides these qualities, Dennis also had another quality, and that was he would be open to admitting wherever he went wrong. I remember I was once in his Princeton facility and we were looking at the ground plan for a state-of-the-art facility here in Bangalore. And I was particularly going through one section of the corridors where something seemed amiss. He came over to me and said, "Hey, Sam, looks like something is troubling you." So here I was, at that time, 16 years back, a rookie, and he was the executive director of Bristol Myers Squibb. But I looked at him straight and I told him, "Look, Dennis, this corridor looks too narrow to accommodate the turning radius of a cage rack." He took the plan, went through it for a few minutes, and then his face broke into a broad smile. He said, "Hey, looks like you're right. We saved a lot of money and a lot of grief. So why don't you join me for a drink this evening?" Besides that, a couple of years down the line, he had come to Bangalore to see how our preparation for the international ALAC audit was going on. This is one of the most prestigious audits which a lab animal facility can have. I was struggling through some of the sections where there was a preliminary questionnaire sent out by the auditors, and some of the questions were really confounding. So I was in a little bit of a bother, and Dennis left his meeting, plonked his chair beside me, and then with a completely nonchalant attitude, he answered those questions. Some months later, when the auditors came and I spoke along the same lines, they were really very happy with my response. Another wonderful quality he had was he used to come and suddenly drop in during lunchtime. And these were the times we used to look forward to, because we would get nuggets of information which would be really useful to us in the future. And I tried to imbibe this quality, and we had a great time with our juniors here in Syngene. At the same time, we used to pick up a lot from them too. Coming to my Toastmasters journey, I'm fortunate to have many good mentors, but my main mentor is Jayasimha. He is really approachable and affable, and he always offers practical solutions. He had told me in the beginning of my Toastmasters journey here that I tended to be more on the narrative side and I should try to make it more conversational. Besides that, he said that I should be more free and try to get my thoughts across to the audience and get their participation. I'm trying to do that. And of course, if Jayasimha is around, and not only that, there are many other mentors also in Toastmasters who have been teaching me from whom I've gleaned so many things, but I'm still trying out those things. I'm really grateful for that. It would be remiss of me if I did not mention one of my all-time favorites and in mentors, and that is Havaldar Mange Ram. Now, Havaldar Mange Ram was my training, drill, and weapons instructor decades ago when I was a young officer. Havaldar Mange Ram used to teach us everything, right from salute and parade and drill and all that stuff. And his training officer and our training officer was Major Bhattacharya. One day when Mange Ram was engrossed in the class he was taking, he was summoned by our training officer. And though it was out of our earshot, but we could clearly make out that he was getting an earful from the training officer. After some time, he came back to the class and continued with the class as if nothing had ever happened. So the class finished. At the end of the day, we couldn't hold back ourselves any longer. We all crowded around him and said, "Ustad." That's the way we used to call our training instructor, Ustad, in the army. So he said, "Ustad, we don't want to listen to what the training officer told you, but we want to know how you came back to class and you were so composed as if nothing has ever happened." He just smiled at us. And in the army, we all wear this cap beret. It's a beret cap. So he took off his beret cap, dusted it because we were on the parade ground, and then put it back. And then he said, "Look, sir, like just I dusted this cap, every day I have a ritual. Ever since I joined the army, I have made it a point that at the end of the day, I take off my cap beret and dust it vigorously. It's not only the dust which goes out with it, but also all the bad thoughts and ill will and ill feelings which others might have towards me and I might have towards others. And when I put it back on my head, I'm fresh again and ready to face the next day. I have been doing this all my life in the army. This motivated us so much. And not only I, but many of my postmates still remember him for this wonderful piece of advice. Finally, I would like to quote this famous words of a very well-known person who speaks on John Thornby, who says that mentorship is a brain to pick, a ear to listen to, and a push in the right direction. Over to you, T.M. Modi.
What a speech, Samarendra. I think we all of us went to the army and we were able to visualize how the army regiment and the practice would look like. Thank you for that wonderful speech. And we were all honored to be part of that speech. Priya is attempting her speech. Before I could call upon Priya, I would like to call upon her evaluator, Toastmaster Vinita, to read out her speech objectives. You are on mute.
Toastmaster Priya is attempting a speech on change management. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a change management plan. And the purpose of this speech is for her to share some aspects of a change management plan. All the best, Priya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vinita. Can any good ever come out of death or dying? Helen Kubler-Ross, a Swiss-American psychiatrist who worked with the dead and dying for a long time, proposed the now famous 5 stages of grief, which is commonly known as the change curve. According to Helen, patients with life-threatening disorders experience these 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally, acceptance. The change curve is now de rigueur in the corporate world, which uses it for every change scenario since then. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. It was the best of times. Almost overnight, things changed for me, and I was put in charge of the learning function in the background of a massive organizational change. It was the worst of times. Almost overnight, things changed for me. I found myself dispossessed of the role where I was firmly entrenched, my comfort zone, my happy place. It rid me of every self-doubt I had. I was functioning on autopilot, perhaps even stagnating. But that fateful day, I was called and told, just do it. But the problem was, I did not know how to do it. In times of crisis and self-doubt, you turn towards your closest. I made an SOS call to my brother. He heard me impatiently. Till then, I thought he was my strongest advocate. I thought he firmly believes that I can run the US presidency sitting out of India. But my grand delusions were broken into pieces when I received a token of his love. He sent me a book, Learning and Development for Dummies. I can tell you, it did not do much for my confidence. The first high-profile meeting I went to in IIM Bangalore, accompanied by senior leaders to meet a renowned professor. At the end of the meeting, I was buttonholed by a senior leader. He told me, "Priya, you're not cut out for this role. Do you want to rethink?" I was shocked into silence. I wondered, how did he hear the voice of my self-doubt? I rushed to my supervisor after the meeting and I said, "I can't do this. This is not for me." She looked at me and said, "Just do it." The first few days, I was in complete denial mode. I was still hoping there was some way out of this role. Slowly, I inched forward when I realized there is no turning back. I felt anger towards people who wrote me off and towards myself for believing them. For some time, I tried looking back at my previous role. I missed my old team. I could not connect with the new team. I struggled to get support and buy-in from my stakeholders. I tried to bargain with myself. I would tell myself, "What others think of you, Priya, is none of your business." Some days that worked, but some of the days, the peer feedback would take its toll. Many a times, I was depressed. The first leadership program in Bangalore tanked. The training program in London opened to particularly bad reviews, and I was gutted. I took my failures to heart. Research says that when people experience something bad, they talk about it 12 times versus only 3 times when they experience something good. I can vouch for the truth of that statement, but I can tell you they spoke about it more than 12 times. Despite all of it, if I persisted, it was because of my supervisor, who would always tell me in the same no-nonsense way, "Just do it." I burnt the midnight oil. Slowly, acceptance caught up with me as I started reaching out to employees on my own. I changed the learning curriculum. I acted on feedback immediately. I had the courage to let go of entrenched service providers and bring in new startups with exciting learning content. The tide started changing. Sometimes, even after accepting or going through the phase of acceptance, I would find myself getting back into anger or depression when things would not go as per my plans. But eventually, I ended up with a lot of success. 3 industry awards for the learning function, which was a first for the organization. Today, when I think back about my change story, that time of intense change for me, in the background of an overall organizational change, I remember Helen Kubler-Ross in gratitude as I realized it was the death of my former self. I would exhort each one of you to start architecting your own change stories. Go through each change phase with awareness. Only when your former self dies will your new self arise like a phoenix, because change is the only way to progress. Thank you, and over to you.
What a speech that was. It gave me an insight towards my personal life as well as my professional life. Change has been the only constant and non-negotiable throughout the journey. And I can definitely relate to whatever Priya said, being in the HR side. Yes, we have a lot of change management switching hands, and we have to just gear up and brave it and face it. still the speech sinking in, I would ask everybody to take a break, and probably we can meet up for the exciting table topic session. And I would request my timer to let me know how much time could I give for the break. It's 3:58. 10 minutes. You are on mute, Naina.
Is the time? It's 3:58. 4:10, 4:05 will be back. 4:05.
Okay. Let's come back for the exciting table topic session at 4:05. Let's all take a break and regenerate ourselves. Thank you.
Hey, Naina, long time.
I know.
Sorry, I could not give the speech last time.
Yeah, Priya, seeing you also after a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks.
Priya, it was good to hear you after such a long time. I forgot like what Toastmaster Priya was like. It was wonderful.
Thank you. I don't know how I thought I could have.
Yeah, why you're so excited? You didn't give me a chance to introduce yourself on me.
What did I? Sorry.
Yeah. I am waiting to introduce you. I have written this one about you.
I didn't realize I was actually working side by side. So I was like, I should not miss my slot.
Okay.
This is like multitasking at a different level, Priya. Working and
Vinita.
giving a speech.
I think joining a new place does that to you. I'm just struggling to, maybe I am also the hyper kinds. I'm struggling to, build my credibility. That's why I'm so hyper. So
I can imagine.
I don't know. You must be relating to that. I'm just not in a good place right now. Mentally, I feel so weird.
Yeah.
My God, I feel like fish out of water because I do not belong to the corporate sector at all. So
It's
also-
not necessarily a bad, a bad thing to be not be a part of the corporate sector. There's a lot of things we deal with, no, Vinita?
I think
Yeah.
the issues are very different here in education
but
institutions.
Kokila, even teachers, November
there you
to
are.
June. November to June it is. We are like lemon.
I know
From
we
all
will
the
be
side they squeeze.
Squeeze till the last drop. Yeah, but then
Then also they dry up and use for something.
yeah, you can
It's
use it.
not left.
So that means we are so useful, no matter.
Only 9
high or
participants
single
today. Very few, no? Or
Yeah,
is
I
it
know.
that people have gone on a
Even
break?
the 2 guests have already left.
Yeah, I think I see their chats now.
Just now
They
I saw
both
the
have
chat.
left. Yeah,
Varsha
yeah.
and Mr. Soni. They
Yeah,
have
yeah,
left.
yeah.
Oh.
Hopefully they have filled the form that I sent them.
They have filled?
Yeah.
Have
How
they?
have you guys
I
been?
think this thing of having both online and offline, I think some of them are consciously choosing to come to the physical meetings. So we have to pull them back to online.
Hi,
as well.
Samrendra.
Hi, Priya. You spoke
Long time no
fantastically well.
see.
So, what new things are you up to with learning and development?
Now the new thing is my new job.
Oh, okay, great.
Some of us
Terrific.
are
Congratulations.
giving us a hard time now to vote for the speaker. It's going to be really hard now for all the audience to vote for the speaker.
Yeah.
True.
And
Kind words.
I learned a lot from both the speeches. Of course, from two
Yeah.
totally different issues, but then great learning. Samarendra and Priya.
Thank you.
Wonderful. What learning. Great. And both of you,
Hey, show me your cutie, Antara. Also cute.
Yeah,
Hello.
The junior most Toastmasters was getting out of touch with
oh my
Toastmasters.
goodness,
Oh,
look
Antara,
at
yeah, I
this.
was going to ask you the same
Oh
thing.
my goodness, look at that
Hey.
one.
Sweet.
Oh,
The lovely
Hi,
chatty
Sudarshan.
munchkin.
What is
Hi.
that? Now you have a branding done
Hi.
behind you, financial Pathshala and all.
Akshara.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to remove that. Yes.
It's okay.
Hey,
we
Sudarshan.
like it.
Yeah.
Oh, Sudarshan is logged in now.
How are you
Yeah,
all?
just in time for the table topics. No,
Ah,
Sudarshan?
And
there you
to
go.
give for others to run to win.
Yeah.
I know.
And he'll give tough competition to everybody.
He's the
Beat all
word,
of them.
Great to be with
he's
all of you.
the wordsmith of Dhwani. In his smithy,
Wordsworth. William
yeah, in
Wordsworth.
his smithy, he makes words and
Look,
words
Look
and
who's
words.
speaking. Look who's speaking.
And actually, it's,
meeting.
Oh my God, the other one.
শিখিরে মাখিটা কোথায় গেল?
Wow.
I got look at the munchkins over there. Cute
I think one
ones.
is feeling left out, right? Your
I
elder
know.
one must be feeling left out, like mom.
The elder
sitting
one
with-
is just beside him. I've used his background just to block him out because he ruins the meetings. And the younger one has just taken a key out of my keyboard. I'm trying to find where it is.
Oh,
But he's so adorable, yeah.
I
So
know.
cute.
What are their names, Antara? Antara is not there.
Yes.
He's muted.
The elder one is Samadarshi. The younger one is Sanglap.
Okay,
Oh,
there is an
come on.
antara between us and Antara now.
Hey, what is the
We call them Piku and Riku.
Iku and Riku? Yeah, I was just thinking of.
Iku and Riku, is it?
Yeah,
Piku
this one
and
is Riku. And this one is Piku.
Piku. Hi, Piku. Hi, Riku.
And now we can start.
Yeah.
CMOD, madam.
Yes, please.
Welcome back to the most exciting and awaited session. Let me introduce our table topic master. Toastmaster Sandeep works as a project manager at Cape Gemini. He has tried his hands as a food entrepreneur. Currently, he is working on his next food idea. He loves watching movies. He likes reading about astronomy. He prefers fiction, thrillers, and biographies when it comes to books. On the personal front, he is married to Nandini, who is also from IT, and they have a 6-year-old son whose name is Athar. Over to you, Sandeep. Toastmaster Sandeep, rock the show we are all waiting for. Thank you, and over to you.
Hi. Hi, fellow Toastmasters. Can you hear me?
You're horizontal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you see me vertically now?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So 2 reasons for taking this roll up. One is throwing questions is always easier than answering. And also, I wanted to make few people taste their own medicine, especially Ashwini. Especially after the Ashwini's Dusras last week. So I wanted to do the same thing. Anyway, so like most of you, I too feel that table topic speeches help us in improving the impromptu speaking, like while dealing with your spouse, to be precise, angry spouse, when you go home late, or for that matter, finding a reason on the fly, for not getting your son's homework done. So whatever the reasons may be, but your impromptu speaking will help you. I had a friend of mine who could lie on the fly. So we were all so, in awe of his lying abilities. Probably I would be speaking on in some other session about his lying abilities. But personally speaking, no amount of impromptu speaking will help you when you're driving in a thick Bangalore traffic, tailgating, and you bump onto the next guy. I don't think your impromptu speaking skill will help you. I think the skill that helps you is yelling skill. With that, I want to start. So how do I go about it? So I'll randomly pick the person. So pardon me, I don't have a laptop to share it. So I'll be just asking the question. Is that fine, Vinita?
Yes, that works.
Okay. So the first person I want to pick is Samrendra sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the question is, if you get a chance to spend a day with a celebrity, who would that be and what will you do?
Okay, let me get this right. With a celebrity, it's not any particular celebrity, right? With any celebrity.
Any celebrity, yes, of course. I mean, if you don't speak for any Bollywood celebrity, I'll be more than happy.
Okay. So, well, I'm going, good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests, and I'm going to take you to a very different kind of celebrity. And this person is actually, his name is Craig Venter. So Craig Venter is a celebrity in his own right. He's the guy who pioneered the Human Genome Project. For those of you who know, almost about 25 years back, it was very difficult to sequence the entire human DNA. So the DNA carries everything that we pass on our traits to the next generation. And there's a lot of it in DNA, which I don't want to go into too much of detail, but Craig Venter was the one who pioneered the whole project. So if I want to meet some celebrity, it is definitely going to be Craig Venter without a doubt. I'm going to ask him a lot of questions. Look, when we didn't have these fast computers, 25 years back, the computers were still horribly slow if you compare it to what we have. And parallel computing has come only now in a big way, about 10 years back. So I'm going to tell him what propelled you, what was that leap of faith you took to get into this? That's my main question. The dinner or the lunch or the snack which I have at him is secondary. I would really like to corner him, and the difficulty is that I need to ask Sandeep to fix up an appointment with him, because what n number of mails I've sent to him have somehow got deflected, because he's not unapproachable, but he's a very busy guy, and probably he sees thousands of mails like mine. But if I have a chance, it's going to be Craig Venter or bust. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very nice listening to those technical things. I think I definitely want to talk to you more on that offline. Thank you so much. Moving to the next question. This time I'll ask this question to Ashwini. Ashwini, are you ready?
Yes, I am all set.
Not a tricky question, don't worry. So suppose you could go back in time and talk to your younger self. What advice would you give yourself?
Suppose I would go back to my younger self and actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was not very clear with the question. I have to give some advice to my younger self.
Correct.
So I will be my younger self now.
Correct.
Okay.
Any age you can pick. Any age you can pick. And
I think I have learned a lot. I have always been this hyperactive child who is uncontrollable and unmanageable by my parents or my teachers. So if I have to go back and I have to tell Ashwini what all I would say is, the first thing I would say is, have some calmness in you, because each time there is something happening, you get too overexcited or you get overwhelmed. You need to maintain that balance. That is what I see in my daughter now. So I think I didn't have a mentor who could see me and who saw something in me to tell those lines, what I am able to see in my daughter and tell her. We just had our first PTM session in which the whatever was told for my daughter reflected to me as a child. So the first thing I heard was, your daughter is over hyperactive and she's over creative. So I told the teachers, you have to learn to manage the child's creativity and not complain about what are our assets. So they were like a little bit stumbled upon. I think from the time I have seen my growth, there is nothing, there's no regrets as such. I have learned a lot along the way. So there's nothing I would like to change or give advice of what I am right now. But yes, just that I would like to bring in a little bit calmness in myself with yoga in place. I think I'm working on it. So over a period of time, it should come back to itself. Otherwise, I love being myself, and I have always been that way, whether people accept me or no. I change only when I get the instinct that I need to change. Thank you, Sandeep, for that opportunity, and over to you.
Super, fantastic. And my suggestion, don't change yourself. Always have the child in you. And definitely childhood is something that we always want to go back to if we get a chance, if at all. Thank you so much, Ashwini. Wonderful. The next person I want to pick is our favorite Sudarshan. So the question is, who do you think of first when you think of success, and why? Sudarshan, the question is to you.
Okay, I thought it was for Sudarshan Ji.
No, Sudarshan Ji is not in the
Okay,
meeting.
he's not here, is it? Okay, yes, he is not here, correct. So, what do you think about success, is it?
Correct. Oh, who do you think of first when you think of success, and why?
Success and why? Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm getting it slowly.
Take your time.
See, when I think of success, there are two parameters. One, the down to earth. The other is the headlong. If I have to give some examples to make you understand better, it is between Sachin Tendulkar and Vinod Kambli. Sachin Tendulkar accepted success level-headedly and went on to be recognized as a master blaster of Indian world cricket. And he was respected by the world fraternity. And he went on with accomplishment after accomplishment. And success did not unsettle him, I would say. Whereas Vinod Kambli, a far more accomplished player, a batsman than Sachin Tendulkar himself, as his counterpart in his school days at Shardashram. But then he allowed success to enter his head, and that plotted the downfall or the ruin of Vinod Kambli, the very stylish and accomplished batsman. He was not known to the world. He faded away from the world's vision, from the stage very shortly after Sachin Tendulkar rose to fame. That's all because of mishandling success. He went after style. He was a great fan of West Indies style of dressing and West Indies habits. And so he shaped his hairstyle after West Indies players, like some island straight, shaving his head and leaving a mushroom type, a caterpillar-like hairstyle in the center, and with a gold enameled tooth, and with an earring, a bullet, and all these stuff. And he went after the hashish and marijuana and all these stuff, and lost his game. So this is what success. Handle it well, success will be with you. Mishandle it, and success will ditch you forever. That's my take on success. Thank you. Over to you.
Fantastic. I knew you will come with some gem, Sudarshan. What a fantastic comparison. And I don't think you could have come up with a better example than this. I think very true. Vinod Kambli was much more talented, but he couldn't handle the success. I remember Sunil Gavaskar telling the same thing to Rahul Dravid when he was a budding cricketer, that once he told that I would put a sunglass to this kid because a lot of people cannot handle the limelight. So to isolate ourselves from the limelight, sometimes we have to do that. I think that was really good. Thank you so much, Sudarshan.
Thank you, Sudeep.
Going to the next participant, I'll pick Kokila ma'am. So Kokila ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, the question is, what is the worst fear that constantly lurks at the back of your mind all the time, and how do you deal with it?
Okay. When you're talking about the fear element, I always don't think about any personal fear as such. But then being a teacher, I've always felt that the fear element is something that acts as an impediment when children come to school or college to learn. The fear of failure in them is really very large. It takes humongous proportions when they're not able to digest failure. And if this kind of fear, if it gets nurtured and nobody tries to bring it to their notice that this should not happen in them, then the fear really becomes a monster, and children will not be able to achieve or even dream what they want to be in future. And when such a thing happens, it's definitely going to be a real, a predicament kind of a thing for the nation itself. And getting to understand that it is our young India, one should go beyond whatever to help these children to come out of the fear element. This is one fear that I have, definitely not for myself. And as I told you that as a teacher, this is one thing that I do with all my children. I try my level best to talk to them and try to eliminate this fear element in them. Because only when you take away that fear from you, from yourself, only then you'll have that free mind to learn something, to create something. And fear becomes a barrier otherwise, a barrier to your learning, to your creativity. So whether there are parents who are, imposing parents, and they are called even helicopter parents, who want their children to do what they like. And Khalil Gibran has very nicely put it across, saying that your children are not your children. Don't make them live your life by imposing things. Allow children to live what they want to live and how they want to live. Allow them to achieve their dreams. So this is one fear that, it keeps lurking at the back of my mind, and this should be eliminated. And all of us need to play a role in this. Whether we are parents, whether we are teachers, whether we are mentors, we should try to see that this fear element, does not spoil children's future. When I speak, I always, speak it from the teacher point of view, because that's what I am. So I would love my children to grow up in a fear-free environment. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. That was wonderful, Kokila ma'am. And you you hit upon some of the most important things as a teacher in a school environment where it is very important to teach the kids to conquer the fear as a teacher, and who better than you as a teacher can do that. Absolutely. Thank you so much for those wonderful thoughts. Moving on to the next participant. So I want to pick Antara for this question. Antara, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, Sadiq.
So the question is, talk about an instance that changed your perspective towards life.
An instance that changed my perspective towards life. While growing up, I guess all of us come across numerous instances that shape our perspective towards life and change how we look at different things. Sorry. Sorry for that interruption.
That's fine.
I used to be a student who valued topping the class over everything else. And that continued for a very long time. I think till class 11 or 12. Till class 8, I used to emerge as the topper in every terminal exam. Beyond that, I started feeling fatigue. I started questioning the meaning of what I was doing with my life, but then I didn't know any other way. So my marks started deteriorating. Around class 11 and 12, I found that my mind was rebelling like anything. And although I had taken up science, as all first girls and first boys used to do in those days, because no other alternative was allowed to them, I started like taking more interest in literature, much to the dismay of certain people. But then like I beyond like class 11 and 12, I saw lots of failures in academic career. Like I was the eagle of the class, and then it was a nosedive for me. And when that happened, I saw that there were not many to support me or to encourage me. And it felt as if my value in the world was determined by my score. So having seen the worst of it and how it changed people's behavior towards me, I learned to value the other aspects of life much better. And that shaped a lot of decisions in my life thereafter. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Antara. I think we all have instances in our lives where you can say they played, I mean, they were blessing in disguise because you had a bad experience, but then that changed your perspective towards life. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your thoughts on that. So I think I can take one more question, and we don't have any guests, Vinita. So I'll go with the members. So this question is to Priya. Priya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
If you could live forever, would you want to, and why?
If I could live forever.
If you were immortal.
Yes, immortal. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like to live forever, but not in the way you are talking about. I would like to live in the way perhaps how Ralph C. Smedley lived. He's left a legacy where in every meeting we start and remember him. It's a lasting legacy he's left, and that's the kind of impact I want to leave. So I want to be immortal or in that sense. So that's a very exciting thing. And I think about it and I'm still looking for ideas how I can make that happen. But I think that is what I would go with rather than in physically being immortal and, and it would be so nice to leave a legacy which would inspire people to keep on improving themselves and make such a big change in everybody's life. And joining the Toastmasters has made a huge difference in my life. And I would love to leave that kind of an impact on others. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Absolutely. I mean, nobody, at least personally, I don't want to live forever physically. It would be so boring and it would be so monotonous. But definitely, yes, through our legacies, if we live forever, I think there is no better life than that. Thank you so much, Priya. That's all from my side. Over to you, Ashwini. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep. That was definitely an eye-opener and an interesting session. We had topics from celebrity, success, childhood, instances which changed our decisions, to fear, and finally being immortal. I can't think of any other creativity better than this to put across everything in one forum. Thank you very much for that wonderful session. And let's move ahead with our evaluation session, where we get to learn where all our improvement areas are. So I would like to call upon the first evaluator who is playing a double role, DTM Naina, to evaluate Samarendra's speech. Over to you, DTM Naina.
Ashwini, you're supposed to call the general evaluator, not the evaluator. The G calls the evaluators. So you have to, of course, I'm doing double, triple roles. It's okay, fine. Okay, but just remember the TMP has to call the G who calls the evaluators. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Ashwini. So as my team and I were effectively evaluating the whole session, and though we enjoyed, though we have a tiny little family gathered to hear, we had amazing moments also listening to wonderful speakers and wonderful role takers. So I would like to call upon the first speaker, Samarendra's speech evaluator, Naina. Thank you, General Evaluator. Samarendra, your speech. As usual, you have a way of getting connected to your audience. Somewhere you talk from your heart. That is so catchy. You don't use flowery language or you don't go to impress anyone. It's just like we are having tea together and you're sharing your experience. That is one amazing trait which a public speaker should have, because a public speaker's main aim is to connect with the audience, which you did from the very starting. And your explanation of your mentees, your experience, which you shared, was commendable. With each mentor, you were learning something or other. And that made, as a mentee, you were also not only learning from them, you were evaluating your mentee. As a teacher, I know the students, how they evaluate their teachers, and they decide whether to accept the learnings from this teacher or not. So that is another thing which I liked from the way you explained. You evaluated, and that made you to accept your mentors, and especially the Havaldar Mangheram. That is something showed you didn't bother whether that person, your mentor, is of high standard or what background, nothing. Everybody we come across mentoring and teaching us something, and that is wonderfully you put it. Now, when it comes to some suggestions, you started wonderfully with a phone call. Now, when you are using a phone call, we're doing it from the same place. A bit body movement, bit turning. That would have shown there were two people talking on the phone. If possible, a bit slight change in your voice also could have helped it. And one more thing is, when many of us are not comfortable with our hands. So when we are gesticulating, that's fine. When you are not, leave it on the side. Your hands were holding like this, ready for the next action. So I was getting a bit diverted, looking at your hands, wondering what you're going to do with them next. So these are the only thing is your body language you work upon, and a bit more as you're completing your second level. By the way, congratulations. Start working upon your vocal variety also. On the whole, it was a wonderful speech which connected to all of us and taught each mentee not only to learn from the mentor, to appreciate, accept, and also know your mentor. Thank you. Over to the GE now. Okay, evaluator Nana, your evaluation was quite good. Keep it up. I would call upon the next evaluator of the second speaker, Priya's speech, and that is Toastmaster Vinita. Please, Vinita, your feedback.
Thank you, G. Nana. So let me get started with the evaluation of Toastmasters Priya on change management. First, I would like to talk about the things that went really well. Toastmaster Priya, your starting was very captivating, right from the moment, the way you started with a quote and the way the whole thing was said was so interesting that I was immediately drawn in to what you were going to talk about. And I realized that you have very specific objectives with this speech to specifically talk about an aspect of change management and your involvement with it. So at the outset, I would like to say congratulations. You have indeed met the objective of your project, speech project. The other things that went well were the structure of the speech, the opening, and there was and then you dove into the exact change that you were facing. And then your conclusion was all about how you came out of it victoriously. So well done there. The structure was beautiful, and that kept the interest peaked throughout the speech. Now coming to a few things that you could look at to make this good speech better. The one thing that I noticed in this online forum, at least, is that your eye movements were a little distracting. It wasn't clear if you were distracted by this video of yourself that we see in the corner of the screen, or if you were trying to connect across the box-sized windows of the audience, but there was a bit of movement of your eyeballs, which I found distracting while you were giving the speech. One way that you could actually avoid it is to step further away from the screen so that you aren't like focused on the details and the audience doesn't follow your eye movement. Or you could try giving the speech standing up so that it gives you the real effect of speaking from a stage and you are not bothered by looking at the screen and you can face the camera. The other way that you can challenge yourself is to use vocal variety. In your speech, you had an option where you spoke about your boss. So you could have created a small dialogue where you could have kept it more interesting, where you show yourself as frustrated and your boss giving you advice to just do it. So that would have been an option to try something new. And the last thing that I felt was towards the end, towards the conclusion, you could have raised the energy levels a little bit. You could have used more objectives to show your enthusiasm on your achievement and to explain how you achieved yourself, how you achieved how you actually came out of the problem and what it felt like to persevere through it and to actually see that the change made you a better person. If that could be brought out in a more victorious, in a very positive, high energy way, that could add value to your speech. All in all, you were smiling, you were comfortable giving the speech, and I always look forward to your content. They're top notch, and I learned a lot as well from your speech today. So congratulations and all the best to you.
Thank
Over
you,
to
Vinita.
Toastmaster.
Thank you, Vinita. So Priya, Vinita has covered everything I have noted. And of course, we always love your lovely diction and rich vocabulary. It's always like listening to a poetry. It's so beautiful. But I agree with Vinita. When we are sitting and speaking, we are in our comfort zone. So when we are comfortable, the body language is what misses. It's not only your gestures, body language is your whole self, your facial expressions, your eye movements, your shoulder movements, your movement on the stage. So this is something I missed it today because your speech was wonderful. If you could have just stood up, automatically they would have come because you're out of your comfort zone. And as Vinita said, just a poetry also, in school we have poetry reading period. We use vocal variety, just work upon it. And Vinita, it's such a lovely evaluation. You evaluated so wonderful that you have noted down all the points. And it was such a friendly feedback. It was not pointing mistakes. You just added, it could have been better. So that is such encouraging for the speaker. You did a wonderful job. Let's have a loud applause for Priya and Vinita. And so here I come to today's meeting. We started at 3:06, but of course we were waiting for some members at least to join us, and that made us to start a little early. That in future, I think let us not wait for anyone, but on dot, let's start our meeting. Sergeant-at-Arms Keith, he explained the ground rules and in a very affable way, not just pointing in the finger and saying, it was beautifully explained. And he explained the theme by saying you're not fond of crackers and told why he's not. And one thing I liked is, no liking for crackers, and he doesn't like to give Gyan on Diwali festival. It's beautiful because everybody has the right to give their opinion. So it's fine with me, it's good. What he lacked was a bit lack of energy. He could have been more energetic. President Vinita, as usual, you had lots of things for us to carry back, lots of things to think over. It's not just a presidential address is inspiring, but make us listener to think. I like the story of that yogi, and then how we miss even enjoying the cup of tea along with family. Actually, I have seen going to a restaurant, the whole family and with their cell phones, and I used to wonder why on earth they stepped out. And you remembered, just you one thing is, of course, we all feel bad that actor Puneet Rajkumar left at a very young age. 46 is not an age to die. He's still in the brim of his youth. And you remembered to condole his death, and that was nice about you. One suggestion, even though you kept saying, now let's move on to our meeting, as the president, you forgot to open the meeting along with saying the meeting number. So just remember in future to open the meeting. And your takeaway, I will remember, is we can be busy doing nothing. I'm sorry, my dogs are disturbing. And that reminds me, when somebody asked me, what is your dog is doing? I said, he's busy doing nothing. He was just lying down. He was not doing anything. He looked so peaceful. I think that is a lesson I want to learn from my dog, not feeling guilty, sitting, doing nothing, at least for a few minutes. A wonderful takeaway. Thank you very much, President Benita. TM Modi Ashwini. So you started with interacting with the audience, throwing a question. What do you think of crackers? And you collected everybody's opinion, and you brought out how you like crackers for a single thing because it connects with your father. So your personal story was touching and added a good feeling to your starting. And your takeaway, what I liked is comparing the cracker in our mind. So crackers are in our mind, are our thoughts bursting on and off, creating cures. So that is wonderful takeaway. And you remembered to introduce every member. Now, of course, you missed Priya's introduction of no fault of yours. It's okay. Priya was waiting to finish her speech, so that's fine.
Sorry, Ashwini.
It's okay. Today, you forgot to introduce Rajsi Smedley. We have to do.
I introduced Rajsi Medley.
You did? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, I'm keeping time also. All these things, I'm doing something funny. Sorry. Thank you very much. But today, I think I felt a bit low energy in you. The usual chirpy Ashwini was missing. Anyhow, bring back yourself because we love that Ashwini. Thank you, Ashwini. And before I go to the table topic master, okay, my team can wait. Sandeep, I think can I see Sandeep? Oh, he's here. I think it is his first time he took this job. He did wonderful. He remembered to call all the people. And also he remembered to check with the guests.
Yes.
Many table topic masters forget to involve the guests. So that is wonderful. And your questions were excellent. And you pulled everybody in. And I think there is no disqualification. Everybody spoke for more than 1 minute. That shows your questions were good. And you listened carefully. So after every speech, you gave comments on their speech. And I like the way you were encouraging the speaker, especially when Ashwini hesitated. You just quipped in and said, it's not a difficult question. That was so sweet of you. Excellent job. Good work. Keep it up. And now I would like to call upon my Tagger team. So I'll start with the timer. Timer, Nana. I'm sorry, I couldn't keep the time of the every other role. So I kept time only of the prepared speakers and the table topic speakers. Samrendra, you timed 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Priya, 6 minutes and 35 seconds. Now, Priya, I would like to give one suggestion to you. Now you're coming to level 4. I would like you to utilize the full time. So minimum 7 minutes, 20 seconds. I would like you to go ahead. It's okay, 6 minutes. And for the beginners, for first level, second level, it's okay. So here onwards, try to utilize the 7 minutes, 30 seconds if possible. The table topic speakers all were in time except are very enthusiastic Kokila. She overtime 2 minutes and 56 thousandths. Even though we loved your speech, it is something close to my heart also. I'm sorry to say your speech will be disqualified. Otherwise, all the speakers were well in time. Can I call the Archon Andhra for her report?
Sure. Thank you, G. Naina. I have prepared my report offline today, and I'll be reading out the highlights. Let me start with President Vinita. Vinita, today you delivered the presidential speech, and you were also an evaluator. That way, you spent a good lot of time on the stage, and when you have to do a lot of impromptu speaking for such a long time, a lot of us creep in inevitably. So you used some 20 hours, and you also used 17 ands. I think this is where you could improve a little, Vinita. I was counting, at one instance, I was counting the number of sentences you were joining up using and you stopped after 10 ands, joining up 10 sentences through ands. So I think that's where you could improve a bit. Moving on to our TMOD, Ashwini. Ashwini also spent a lot of time on the stage today as a TMOD and also as a table topic speaker. Ashwini used some 37 hours and 1 DTM Naina was the general evaluator, the timer, and an evaluator today. However, I couldn't find many filler words or unnecessary words while she spoke. If I nitpick, Naina, just to nitpick, I found a few of your sentences, some 3/4 of your sentences starting with so, which I think could have been cut down. Toastmaster Samarendra used just 1 and. Toastmaster Sudarshan used 5 ands. Priya, like I struggled to find any filler word or a repetitive word in your speech. I couldn't find any, so I was very dissatisfied. But then when you took up the role of when you took up a table topic, I could find 2 R's. That made me happy. Toastmaster Sandeep was the table topic master today, but I could hardly find 1 R while he spoke, nothing else. Most of the other speakers didn't have significant filler words or repetitive words, so they were good. Thank you, G. Naina.
The Zoom decided to throw me out. It had enough of me for today. Thank you. I would like to call up Grammarian Andhra to give her feedback.
Thank you, Naina. And this is Grammarian Andhra for you. The phrase of the day today was used by Toastmaster Ashwini, DTM Naina, and Toastmaster Sandeep. Thank you all. The word of the day was not used by anyone. So I'm complaining about this to Team Ashwini and to G. Naina. But other than that, I don't see much opportunity to complain. I thought like my book will be filled with complaints. I was hoping for a lot of opportunities, didn't get much. There were plenty of great usages of the language. President Vinita used phrases like, there is a treat everywhere, on the fly, untimely fashion. Toastmaster Ashwini used phrases like crackers bursting through our head. Speeches keep bursting forth like crackers. Love that. Brave the role. Toastmaster Samarendra used lovely words like crisp, nonchalant, affable, and a phrase out of our earshot. Toastmaster Priya again made me use up half of the page of my notebook. She used words like dispossessed, entrenched, faithful, then phrases like grand delusions were broken into pieces, buttonholed, inch forward, gutted, burned the midnight oil, acceptance caught up with me. I stopped noting after that, Priya. We were using too much space. Toastmaster Sandeep used phrases like taste their own medicine, lie on the fly, which was nice. Toastmaster Sudarshan used phrases like did not unsettle him, plotted the downfall, faded away from the world's vision. Toastmaster Kokila used phrases and words like impediment, humongous, predicament. I didn't, as I said, I didn't note much poor usage of the grammar. Just one instance maybe, rather than have some calmness in you, you could have said, be calmer or practice calmness. That's all I have. Thank you, G. Naina.
Thank you, Antara. Kudos to you. I think she needs applause. It's not only the listener. As accountant and grammarian, she had to listen every second. It's so difficult, but without hesitation, she accepted. Thank you very much. Just one suggestion is serendipity is a noun. Using noun in a sentence is difficult. So if it is an adverb or an adjective, any speech, anybody can use it in sentences. So it's better if you want the word to be used, give adjectives or even adverbs. That's so easy. On the spot, you can introduce. Thank you very much, Antara. Now, there is going to be Crackers, who is going to open fire at all of you, waiting to start. Listener, Kokila. Over to you, Kokila.
Thank you, DTM Naina. I hope all of you have got ears for me. Friends, Toastmasters, and everyone at Toastmasters, including the, of course, guests aren't here. Please lend me your ears. I hope you have lent your ears throughout the program and the meeting today. I begin from the beginning. TM Keith described our meeting with a particular phrase. What kind of a meeting did he say it's going to be?
Cracker of a meeting.
Cracker of a meeting. Oh, who's this? I thought you weren't there. Then, and Keith also said something like this. Crackers mean only one thing. And what was that?
Noise.
Pollution.
No, he didn't say that.
Pollution.
No. He said he made a lovely statement. Crackers can mean only one thing, he said. And then a rejoinder.
Joy or celebration.
No.
Joy.
No. The rejoinder was something that Keith said. Okay, not wasting time. He said, crackers can mean only one thing. Diwali is here. That's what he said. Okay. Our President Vinita, in her presidential address, she asked us, how busy have we been and what have we been doing? So how was our DTM Naina trying to be busy?
Shopping.
Pardon?
Shopping. Shopping.
No, okay, but then especially something. Especially something. What was that? DTM Naina was specially, her special preparation for Diwali was something.
Rangoli.
Yes, she was practicing new designs of Rangoli. And what was Vinita's being busy about? What was she being busy with?
Completing her work project so that it doesn't ruin her holiday week or
Exactly.
vacation.
And especially she was wrapping up all the mails. And then President Vinita was talking about one book, Richard Koch's. What was that one statement that she told us from that book, Richard Koch's, whatever book it was? She made a statement from that book, something to do with our work and the result.
80% of the outcomes come from 20%.
Oh, birds of a feather flock together now. Answer comes from Priya. Okay, we had two guests. Who was the guest from Noida?
Jai Soni.
Yeah, Soni. Then our TMOD Ashwini with the theme of crackers and things like that. When was the time that she had an actual bonding with her dad?
When she burst the crackers.
Which cracker was it?
Atom bomb.
Yes, when she was bursting the atom bomb. Very good. Great listening. And our DTM Naina's mentor said something which closely related to what Ashwini said. What was that? He said something like, I'll start with the beginning, then fill in the blanks. Instead of cribbing, dash, 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 dash.
Utilize the resources that you have instead of cribbing about what you don't have.
Okay, I'll take that. He said, it seems instead of cribbing about who isn't.
Who is not attended and who is
Yes.
there, who is attended to me.
Appreciate the presence of the attendees. Okay. Then our first speaker, Samarendra, he used the word year, E-A-R, year, with two other words which make them different words in one sentence, especially when he was talking about Havaldar Mangeram. An incident happened and then he used this word year plus one, what do you call that, a suffix.
Yearful.
Yearful and what? What's the other one? One was yearful, the other one was?
Earshot.
Earshot, right. Yeah, there's one who will, this is one.
Without being in the meeting,
Always,
he
yes,
can give the
always at
answer.
earshot, always earful. And the training officer, and this Havaldar Mangeram, he was called by some other name. They used to call him what?
Ustad.
Ustad. Yeah, he was called Ustad. Right. And when Toastmaster Priya was speaking, she was talking about a book called 5 Stages of Grief. What was the first stage and the last stage?
Anger and denial.
No, denial was the first one. So what is the fifth one?
Acceptance.
Acceptance, yes.
Thank you, Kokila. Yeah, time up.
Time up,
So,
is it? Oh,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks a lot. So this is feedback from my team and myself. Enjoyed. Thanks a lot for giving us the opportunity. Over to the Toastmaster of the Day, Ashwini.
Thank you, DTM, G, evaluator, all in all, Naina. It has been definitely a wonderful session, and I faced the fear of being the TMOD today, and I'm very happy that I did it. I feel a lot of content that I faced it and I was able to do a decent job. I would like to hand over the stage back to our President Vinita.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Thank you. It's a little confusing today because I have two screens in front of me, and on one screen I'm shown that I'm muted it. So it always throws me back a bit, but I've gotten used to it though it's the end of the meeting. And I have sent forth the voting links to you all. So please take the time to actually vote if you haven't done so. So just quickly go and do that. Whilst you're doing that, I should say that I agree with RG Naina. She reminded me of the movie Sita or Gita, where the protagonist plays two roles, and there's so much humor in the movie. The same way, I think DTM Naina brought so much humor in our meeting when she tried to be the evaluator and the general evaluator, and a bit of confusion. She handled it beautifully. Well done there. There were, apart from me today, our guests left early and we couldn't hear from them. But apart from me, there were 9 people in the meeting. And I learned 9 lessons to take home today. Each one of you in your own way have taught me something. The speaker, Toastmaster Samrendra, this one thing I'll always remember is about your mentor giving you the advice of dusting off the cap and putting it back again and removing all the negativity when you do that. I think that's a wonderful lesson. From Toastmaster Priya, I learned the age-old lesson of perseverance. I am prone to get frustrated towards the end of things. So it's always a useful and a healthy reminder to have all times. I know that Toastmaster Kokila, because of the news of Dr. Puneet Rajkumar, she was a little sad today. And still, when she came and did her roles, she did it so beautifully. She had all the enthusiasm, and the way she carried herself was really commendable. Something for me to learn from. In similar fashion, like Sita or Gita, Toastmaster Antara reminded me of Chalbaz, where Sridevi does 2 roles, and she did the 2 roles so beautifully today. I don't know whom to vote for, the grammarian Antara or the counter Antara. That's the kind of confusion that she's left me with. So thank you for that. And it's been a while since I heard the G Naina's feedback, and it's so wholesome, so beautifully delivered, and though she was telling me how I could improve, I was smiling and I was taking it all in, and that's the charm of our DTM Naina. And we heard a special speaker. Sometimes the student who actually stands outside the class ends up scoring more than you when you have attended all your teachers' lectures. So Toastmaster Sudarshan gave us that feeling when he did not attend the first half of the meeting, but got many questions of the listeners right. So thank you for that. Well done, outstanding student. So thank you for that. And with this, I would like Toastmaster Naina for any announcements that she has. While I just quickly take a peek at the voting results, and I shall announce it shortly. Over to you, Naina.
So next meeting, we are planning post Diwali celebration. Vinita, would you like to announce about it?
Sure. Our get together, right?
Yeah, we won't have proper regular meeting. It'll be just a get together. Who have to bring lots of sweets for me.
Definitely. So our next meeting, we are not going to do the usual thing where we actually book a conference room and we ask you to give speeches and evaluate them. No table topics as well. We will meet, the location I will share with you all shortly, but we will meet in our regular time, 3 to 5. Maybe at a food court of a mall. This is the hint that I'm giving you all. And it will not be a 2 hours meeting. Let's just meet, have a cup of coffee and anything else that we want to indulge in the spirit of the festivities that is coming forth our way. And just have a good time as the Dhwani family. So please, I know it's festive time, it's family time, it's celebratory time, but keep an hour or 2 aside for your Toastmaster friends and family and join us for it. you can stay even 1 hour if you want. You just make sure that you make it to the meeting and you enjoy with us as well. And sweets are guaranteed from my side. Sweets, savories, and fun are guaranteed from my side. But you must bring yourself here to the meeting to enjoy it. Okay.
Done.
Yeah, that's the plan. And with that, let me announce the results. Last time I refresh it. So I'm also feeling like a double actor now. Yeah, so the results are out. Both the speeches are qualified, right? Naina?
Yeah, both are
Yeah.
qualified.
So Toastmaster, okay, there were 2 speeches, so I will announce only the winning speaker. So the winner of, the best voted speaker today is Toastmaster Samarendra. Congratulations to you. So you are the Ustad for today, our Ustad for today. And let me quickly take a peek at all the role takers. Just refreshing it a last time so that I have the results up to date. Okay, the best table topic speaker. Who do you think it is?
All.
Yeah, it is like that. Everybody seems to have got some votes, but there are 2 for the top spot. We have a tie between 2. Toastmaster Sudarshan for the speech on success, that table topic on success, and Toastmaster Samarendra, as usual, the gift of the gab while it comes to impromptu speaking. Congratulations to both of you. And the best Taggle role player, it's a tie between our Toastmaster, the grammarian Antara, and like I said, the counter Antara. So she's got 100% of the votes. So well done there. The best evaluator goes to me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The best role player, who could it be?
Naina.
Naina.
Yes, without a doubt, it is our DTM, our G for today, Toastmaster Naina, also playing other roles. All other roles that were up for the grabs, she played it beautifully. Well done. The Haha Invoker. Of course, it's Sita or Geeta.
Yeah, again, Naina.
Toastmaster Naina, and there's a tie. There is also voting for TMOD Ashwini. That smile always wins. So congratulations, all of you. And there's one person I forgot to mention. The surprise package today was the table topic master, Toastmaster Sandeep, who actually gave the most wonderful topics without any specific theme. He got all the speakers to speak something very personal to them and very interesting to listen to, and a lot to learn from. So thank you for that. With that, I officially declare this meeting completed. Thank you all for joining and making it so special. So please stay tuned for the announcements for our unofficial meeting the next week, and make sure you make the time for it. Thank you.
God, Antara, I was thinking that serendipity was a form of self-pity, but my good luck, fortunately, I discovered it was not.
Okay, good evening.
Fortunate discovery.
But how come, Sudarshan, you didn't know what serendipity
Serendipity is a word that I love. It's
No,
one of
I
the
just
best
put it across
words
in this format.
Right. Yeah, I thought so. You are playing with the word.
Serendipity, I think, is a word came. I think the way I know it is
Eureka.
When Sri Lanka was discovered, right?
Yeah.
It was known as Serendip Island or something. something. I mean, it was
Yeah.
found by accident or something. That's
Yes,
what-
yes. No, that is true. That is true. The island was Serendip, but whether it is Sri Lanka is not. It's a fable. I think it's not a real island or something like that.
Okay, something like that. If I remember it.
I don't
that's
know. I
how
think
the name
Kokila will
came.
be able to tell us.